Stop. Before you spend another penny, check your pocket right now, because one small coin could be a hidden treasure worth serious money. These old wheat pennies are silent fortunes hiding in plain sight, and most people are losing them every single day without realizing it. Nobody talks about these coins until collectors start fighting at auctions. Do not spend these coins. Each coin in this video gets rarer, more shocking, and more valuable, and the last one could change everything forever. The craziest part about the 1943D wheat penny is that people almost never recognize it when they see it. They touch it, hear it drop into change, maybe notice it looks older than usual, then spend it without another thought. That is exactly how hidden wealth disappears. This coin doesn't look like a fortune. It hides behind an old surface, a quiet appearance, and decades of circulation. But collectors know the truth. The moment they see that 1943 date and the tiny D mint mark, everything changes. This coin was born during one of the most intense periods in American history. In 1943, the United States was deep in World War II. The country was under pressure, industries were stretched, and the government was redirecting copper toward wartime needs. Ammunition, military wiring, battlefield equipment, copper mattered more than ever. So the U.S. Mint made a historic decision that completely changed the look and feel of the Lincoln wheat penny. Pennies from this year became unlike anything Americans had seen before, and that sudden transition created confusion, rarity, obsession, and eventually enormous value. What makes the Denver Mint version special is the pressure under which it was produced. Denver was striking coins fast, trying to meet wartime demand while maintaining consistency. These wore down. Machines ran hard. Tiny imperfections and subtle differences appeared in the surfaces and strike patterns. Most people miss those details completely, but advanced collectors study them obsessively. They examine the shine, the darkness, the edge texture, the mint mark placement, because one tiny detail can separate an ordinary old coin from a silent fortune. The first time you hold this coin, it feels different immediately. It doesn't carry the same warm copper tone people expect from older pennies. The wartime composition gives it a colder appearance, almost mysterious under light. It weighs around 2.7 grams, lighter than earlier bronze wheat pennies with a diameter of approximately 19.05 millimeters. The thickness feels thin but firm, and the girth has a sharper, metallic edge because of the wartime steel composition. Even the sound it makes when lightly touched against another coin feels unusual. This is not just another penny. This coin feels like history trapped inside metal. Now look at the front carefully. Abraham Lincoln faces right, calm, and timeless, while the words, "In God we trust," curve above his head. Liberty stands beside him, and the date 1943 sits below with that critical D mint mark beneath it. That tiny letter changes everything. To most people, it means nothing. To collectors, it means Denver, and Denver minted wartime coins carry an emotional weight that drives serious demand. Every mark, every shadow, every worn surface becomes important when evaluating one of these coins. Flip it over and you see the classic wheat penny reverse. Two wheat stalks frame the words 1 cent and United States of America with E pluribus unum above. The design feels powerful in its simplicity. Even in old fine condition, the wheat lines still hold presence, and that survival matters more than most people realize. Coins from 1943 often suffered corrosion, rusting, mishandling, and destruction because the wartime metal reacted differently over time. Many were damaged beyond recovery. Others disappeared completely from circulation. That is why surviving examples with original surfaces are becoming harder to find every single year. And this is where people make a devastating mistake. They clean the coin. The moment someone takes polish, chemicals, or abrasive cloth to this wheat penny, they destroy part of its identity forever. Collectors want originality. They want authentic aging. They want untouched surfaces, old toning, and natural wear patterns created by decades of history. That darkened appearance, those antique textures, even uneven color changes, that is where the hidden treasure lives. Never clean this coin. Not even once. A cleaned coin loses trust. And once collectors lose trust in a coin, its power drops instantly. Most people miss something important about old, fine-condition coins. They think value only exists in shiny, mint-state examples. But collectors often become obsessed with original circulated pieces because they tell a story. An old, fine 1943D wheat penny carries visible history. It moved through wartime America. It survived decades of change. It escaped destruction. That emotional survival is part of what drives collectors into aggressive bidding wars when one appears in the market. And those auction moments become intense. Not loud, not chaotic, quiet, focused, dangerous. A serious collector does not joke around when this coin appears. They lean forward. They study photos carefully. They watch for authentic surfaces and untouched toning. Then the bidding begins slowly, but every increase feels heavier, more emotional, more personal, because everyone involved understands they may not see another example like it for a long time. This is not fiction. This is real auction behavior happening right now in the coin world. Another reason collectors chase this coin so aggressively is because demand keeps climbing while supply keeps shrinking. People are holding these coins instead of selling them. Once professionally graded and authenticated, they often disappear into private collections for years. That means fewer examples remain available to the public, and every year new collectors enter the market searching for wartime wheat pennies. Pressure rises. Competition rises. Prices rise. And now comes the moment that shocks people every single time. The current auction market value for this 1943D wheat penny in old fine condition is approximately $240,000. This is absolutely current. This is not fantasy. This is serious money attached to a coin many people still spend accidentally without even looking twice. Think about how unbelievable that is. A single old penny carrying the weight of a silent fortune. What makes it even more powerful is the emotional reaction collectors have toward this coin. They don't just see value. They see wartime history. They see rarity created under pressure. They see survival against time. That emotional connection is why these coins keep getting stronger in the market. Hidden wealth becomes more valuable when fewer people recognize it. So listen carefully. Do not spend this coin. Check every 1943 wheat penny carefully, especially for the D mint mark. Study the surface. Protect the original toning. Never clean it. And if you believe you found one, professional grading is critical because authentication changes everything. Most people rush, panic, or make careless mistakes. Smart collectors stay patient. Patience creates wealth in this market. The scary truth is that these coins are still out there, sitting in jars, hidden in drawers, mixed into old family collections, quietly waiting for somebody to notice them before they disappear forever. And most people will never realize what they lost until it's too late. But if you think this coin was shocking, the next wheat penny is even more dangerous to ignore. It carries a detail so rare, so unexpected, that collectors become completely obsessed the moment they spot it. And once you see why, you'll never look at another penny the same way again. Coin number 2. The strangest thing about the 1944 wheat penny without a mint mark is that people usually ignore it because it looks exhausted. Worn edges, dark surface, old circulation marks. A coin that feels forgotten. But hidden fortunes almost always look ordinary before the world notices them. That's the trap with this coin. People spend it, toss it into jars, leave it sitting in drawers for decades, never realizing they're holding a piece of quiet wealth that collectors are desperately hunting right now. And what makes this coin even more emotional is the year itself. 1944 was a year of recovery and pressure at the same time. America was still deep in World War II, but the U.S. Mint was changing direction again after the unusual steel sense of 1943 people had complained about wartime steel pennies because they rusted, looked strange, and caused confusion in circulation. So in 1944, the mint returned to a copper-based composition using recycled wartime shell casings. Think about that for a second. This coin may literally contain metal connected to wartime history. That story alone gives it a different emotional weight. Coins from Philadelphia in 1944 carried no mint mark, which means many people overlook them immediately. But experienced collectors know something important. No mint mark does not mean no value. In fact, some of the most emotionally chased wheat pennies come from Philadelphia because of their historical timing, survival rarity, and original surfaces. The absence of a mint mark becomes part of the obsession. When you first hold this coin, especially in old, poor circulated condition, it doesn't feel flashy. It feels aged, honest, real. It weighs approximately 3.11 grams, with a diameter around 19.05 millimeters and a thin but solid thickness that still carries that unmistakable wheat penny identity. The girth feels smoother from years of handling, almost like the coin has been traveling through American history itself. That worn feeling is not weakness. That is survival. Look carefully at the obverse side. Abraham Lincoln's portrait still stands firm even after decades of circulation. In God we trust curves above his head, softened slightly by wear. Liberty remains visible beside him, and the date 1944 sits below with no mint mark beneath it. That missing mint marks is where casual people move on. But collectors stop and stare. Tiny details around the lettering, strike sharpness, and original color patterns become everything in this market. Now turn the coin over. The reverse side still carries the iconic wheat stalks framing 1 cent and United States of America with E pluribus unum above. In circulated condition, these details may appear faded or uneven, but that natural wear tells a story collectors love. Every scratch, every dark patch, every antique surface tone speaks of decades in circulation. This coin was not hidden safely in perfect storage. It lived through time. And this is exactly why collectors become emotionally attached to original circulated wheat pennies. A shiny, cleaned coin can lose its soul instantly. Most people don't understand this. They think cleaning an old penny improves it. In reality, cleaning destroys the very originality that serious buyers fight for. Once that natural toning disappears, trust disappears with it. Never clean this coin. Original darkness matters. The old brown tone, the uneven aging, the circulation texture, that's where the hidden treasure hides. Most people also miss another critical truth. Poor circulated condition coins often vanished quickly because they were spent heavily, damaged, bent, corroded, or thrown away. Many surviving 1944 pennies no longer hold authentic surfaces. Others were polished by inexperienced owners trying to make them look new. That means true original survivors are becoming harder to find every single year. And collectors know it. That's why auctions involving coins like this feel intense in a very quiet way. Serious buyers don't always react emotionally on the outside. They study carefully. They zoom into surface textures. They look for untouched color. They analyze the rim, the wheat lines, the lettering sharpness. Then the bids begin. Slowly at first, then aggressively, because everyone involved understands something important. Once an authentic original 1,944 wheat penny enters a strong collection, it may never return to the market again. This is not fiction. Collectors are holding these coins instead of selling them. Demand keeps rising while supply keeps shrinking. Every year more people discover the hidden world of wheat pennies, and once they realize how difficult original circulated examples are becoming, competition grows even stronger. Now here comes the part that shocks people the most. The current auction market value of this 1,944 wheat penny without mint mark in old, poor circulated condition is approximately $150,000. Yeah, even in that worn condition. This is absolutely current. This is real auction money connected to a coin most people would ignore completely. That is the power of hidden wealth. That is the reality of silent fortunes hiding inside ordinary pocket change. And the emotional side of this market makes the value even stronger. Collectors aren't only buying metal. They are buying survival. They are buying wartime history. They are buying originality. This coin represents an America under pressure, transitioning through one of the most important periods in modern history. Every mark on its surface feels connected to that story. So if you ever find a 1,944 wheat penny with no mint mark, stop immediately and check it carefully. Do not spend this coin. Do not clean this coin. Protect every original detail, because originality changes everything in this market. Even dark toning, dirt buildup, and circulation wear can become powerful advantages when collectors recognize authentic, untouched surfaces. And if you believe your coin may have strong potential, professional grading is critical. Authentication creates confidence, and confidence creates aggressive bidding. Most people move too fast and lose opportunities because they never slow down long enough to notice small details. Smart collectors do the opposite. They stay patient. They inspect carefully. They understand that patience creates wealth. And the scary truth is, coins like this are still out there, hidden inside old jars, forgotten collections, estate boxes, flea market trays, and everyday pocket change. People are accidentally losing these treasures every single day without realizing it. But what comes next is even more unbelievable. The next wheat penny carries a level of rarity and collector obsession that turns calm auctions into battles. One tiny detail on that coin changes everything. And once you see it, you'll understand why some collectors refuse to let it go at any price. Coin number 3. There's something dangerous about the 1,946 wheat penny without a mint mark. Not because it looks rare, but because it looks too normal. That's how hidden treasure survives for decades without being noticed. People see an old penny, maybe a little darker from age, maybe slightly worn from circulation, and they move on without a second thought. Meanwhile, collectors freeze the moment they spot it, because they know this coin represents a powerful moment in American history, and finding one today in fine condition feels like discovering quiet wealth hiding in plain sight. The year 1946 carried a different energy across the United States. World War had just ended, soldiers were returning home, industries were shifting again, and the country was stepping into a completely new era. The US. Mint was under pressure during this transition. Demand for coinage remained strong. Materials were stabilizing again, and millions of Americans were rebuilding daily life after wartime tension. Coins struck during this period carry something emotional inside them. They feel connected to change, survival, and the beginning of a new American chapter. And that is exactly why collectors obsess over post-war wheat pennies. This 1946 wheat penny without a mint mark was struck in Philadelphia, one of the most historically important U.S. mint facilities. The missing mint mark may seem insignificant to ordinary people, but advanced collectors immediately recognize what it means. Philadelphia coins from this era developed unique strike qualities, surface textures, and circulation survival patterns that have become increasingly desirable over time. One tiny missing letter creates enormous emotional demand. Now hold this coin in your hand for a second. It weighs approximately 3.11 grams, carrying that classic bronze wheat penny composition made primarily of copper with small amounts of tin and zinc blended in. The diameter measures around 19.05 millimeters with a thin but sturdy thickness that feels unmistakably vintage. The girth feels smooth from years of circulation, yet the coin still carries strength. Fine condition means the details remain visible, balanced between age and preservation. That balance matters more than most people understand. The front side immediately draws attention when examined closely. Abraham Lincoln's profile remains strong, with visible detail across the face, despite years of circulation. In God, we trust curves above his head with authority, while liberty rests beside him and the date 1946 stands below. There is no mint mark beneath the year, and that absence becomes the detail that changes everything. Serious collectors study the spacing of the lettering, the depth of the strike, the texture around Lincoln's portrait, and the natural color tone across the surface. Now flip the coin over. The reverse side still carries the famous wheat ears framing 1 cent and United States of America, with E pluribus unum above. In fine condition, the wheat lines remain visible enough to give the coin character without losing its aged authenticity. This is where emotional collecting begins. A perfectly untouched old wheat penny carries a presence modern coins cannot replicate. It feels alive with history. And this is where people make one of the worst mistakes imaginable. They clean it. The moment somebody tries to polish this coin or scrub away its natural tone, they destroy the originality collectors are searching for. Never clean this coin. Not with cloth. Not with chemicals. Not with water. Original toning matters more than shine. That darker antique surface, those soft circulation marks, even subtle color changes across the bronze composition. Those are signs of authenticity. Once removed, the emotional and financial strength of the coin drops immediately. Most people don't realize how many wheat pennies disappeared over time. They were spent heavily during the late 1940s and 1950s, stored carelessly in drawers, damaged in circulation, or melted away. Fine condition survivors today represent a shrinking population. That's why collectors become increasingly competitive when they locate original examples that still carry strong detail and untouched surfaces. And the auction behavior surrounding this coin becomes fascinating. When an authentic 1946 no mint mark wheat penny appears in the market, experienced collectors react instantly. Not loudly, carefully, quietly. They study photographs for hours. They inspect surface texture, edge quality, and color consistency. Then the bidding starts. Slowly at first, then more aggressively as collectors realize others are watching the same coin. Because once a strong example enters a private collection, it often disappears from public view for years. This is not fiction. Collectors are holding these coins instead of flipping them quickly. Demand continues rising while supply keeps tightening. Every year, more people discover the hidden world of wheat penny collecting, and post-war Philadelphia issues are becoming harder to ignore. That growing obsession pushes values higher and higher. Now prepare yourself for the moment that shocks nearly everyone. The current auction market value of this 1,946 wheat penny without mint mark in fine condition is approximately $160,000. This is absolutely current. This is real auction activity happening right now. Serious money attached to a coin, many people still spend without hesitation. Think about that carefully. A single old penny carrying the weight of a silent fortune. And what makes this even more powerful is the emotional side of collecting. This coin represents survival after wartime America. It carries the feeling of transition, recovery, and a country rebuilding itself. Collectors aren't only buying metal when they chase coins like this. They're buying history. They're buying emotion. They're buying a piece of the American story preserved inside copper. So if you ever find a 1,946 wheat penny without a mint mark, stop immediately and inspect it carefully. Do not spend this coin. Most people miss tiny details that create enormous value. Check the surfaces closely. Look at the natural toning. Study the wheat lines and Lincoln's portrait. Fine condition originality matters more than people realize. And if your coin appears strong, professional grading is critical because authentication creates trust, and trust creates competitive bidding. Patience also matters deeply in this market. Smart collectors never rush. They understand that hidden wealth grows stronger over time. As more coins disappear into private collections and fewer authentic examples remain available, the pressure inside the market becomes even more intense. And the truth is, these coins are still hiding everywhere. Old jars, forgotten family collections, antique boxes, estate sales, pocket change, hidden treasure sitting in plain sight, while people unknowingly spend fortunes every single day. So before you leave this video, check your coins again carefully. Because one small wheat penny could completely change the way you see money forever. And trust me, what's coming next on USA Coin Reveal is even more unbelievable. The next rare coin carries a detail so shocking that collectors become obsessed the moment they discover it. One tiny feature, and suddenly an ordinary coin transforms into life-changing wealth. Stay ready, because the next hidden treasure is closer than you think.